What people see when they die. The science of the final moments. Your heart has stopped. Your lungs are still. The doctors think you're gone. But inside your brain, something extraordinary is about to happen. For the first time in human history, science has measured what happens in our final moments. And what we discovered will change everything you thought you knew about death. The dying brain doesn't simply shut down like a light switch. Instead, it may experience its most brilliant surge of consciousness, a final, powerful crescendo. Thousands of people who've crossed death's threshold and returned tell remarkably similar stories. Stories now backed by cutting-edge neuroscience. This is the journey through death's door. This is what happens when we die. And it's more beautiful, more mysterious, and more scientifically fascinating than anyone imagined. I'm bringing you findings from Oxford, from Harvard, from the University of Michigan, research that's rewriting our understanding of consciousness itself. Prepare to discover what survivors see, what happens to our memories, and why the dying brain might be searching desperately for one last reason to live. This isn't philosophy. This isn't speculation. This is peer-reviewed neuroscience that challenges the very nature of reality. Whether you're a scientist, a skeptic, or someone who's lost a loved one, what you're about to learn will transform how you see life and death. Let's begin this journey together into the greatest mystery of human existence. The revolution in death research. Before 1959, if your heart stopped, you were dead. No exceptions, no second chances. Cardiac arrest meant the absolute end. Then one doctor discovered cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, and suddenly people were returning from what we'd always considered the point of no return. Dr. Sam Parnia from NYU Langone Health explains, doctors can now revive people 20 minutes or more after their heart has stopped beating. This single medical breakthrough opened an unprecedented window into death itself. And the people who returned brought back extraordinary stories. Approximately 10 to 20% of cardiac arrest survivors report vivid experiences of death, what we now call near-death experiences. These aren't random hallucinations. They follow remarkably consistent patterns reported by people worldwide, from children to the elderly, across all cultures. They describe leaving their physical bodies, moving through a tunnel toward brilliant light, and encountering deceased loved ones who tell them it's not their time. They report seeing their entire life flash before them, every significant moment, every person they've loved, every decision they've made. They experience feelings of profound peace and unconditional love, unlike anything they've felt in life. They encounter barriers they cannot cross, and then they return, changed forever. These survivors come back with dramatically reduced fear of death and an intensified love for life. For decades, skeptics dismissed these experiences as oxygen-deprived. Brain hallucinations, random electrical noise, wishful thinking. But in 2024, neuroscientists at the University of Michigan made a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew. Dr. Jimo Borjigin and her team did something unprecedented. They monitored 4 comatose patients second by second as they died. Continuous EEG and ECG recordings captured every electrical impulse, every heartbeat, every brain wave during the final moments of life. What they witnessed in 2 of these patients defied every assumption about the dying brain. The findings were published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Within minutes of ventilator removal, these patients' brains didn't fade quietly into darkness. They exploded with activity, not random noise. Highly organized, coherent gamma wave oscillations, the very brain waves associated with consciousness, memory retrieval, and complex thought. Dr. Borjigin described it vividly. As patient 1 died, her brain was functioning in a kind of hyperdrive, super active during cardiac arrest. This discovery turned everything upside down. The dying brain wasn't shutting down. It was lighting up like never before. But the real revelation was where in the brain this activity surged. And that's where the story gets truly extraordinary. The gamma wave surge. Understanding the science gamma. Oscillations occur at 25 to 100 hertz. These are high-frequency brain waves associated with our highest level of consciousness. In healthy, awake individuals, gamma waves light up when we're consciously aware, paying attention, consolidating memories, and processing complex information. But these dying patients showed gamma wave activity surging in one specific region, the Posterior Cortical Hot Zone. This is the junction where the temporal, parietal, and occipital lobes meet, the exact brain region involved in visual processing, spatial awareness, and out-of-body experiences. In patient 1, gamma activity increased up to 300 times, its baseline level, 300 times higher than normal consciousness. That's not the brain of someone unconscious. That's a brain experiencing what may be the most intense moment of awareness in a person's entire lifetime. This region processes everything: sight, sound, body position in space, empathy, social cognition. It's where we integrate our entire experience of being human. Now here's the profound question Dr. Borjigin asked. The brain uses 20% of the body's total energy even when we're resting. Why would the brain, at this critical moment when oxygen has stopped, consume massive effort to produce conscious experience? Her hypothesis is fascinating. The brain may be launching a desperate internal search for survival when it detects life-threatening oxygen deprivation. It activates survival mechanisms, searches deep memory for any past experience of surviving, similar crises, and generates motivational content, reasons to keep fighting. This could explain why so many near-death experiences involve seeing deceased loved ones who tell them, "It's not your time. You must go back." The dying brain might be searching its entire lifetime of memories for something, anything, that could motivate survival against impossible odds. But there's another phenomenon that supports this understanding, something even more mysterious called terminal lucidity or paradoxical lucidity. Imagine a patient with advanced dementia who hasn't recognized their own children in years. Their brain has atrophied significantly on MRI scans. They've lost 20 to 50% of their synaptic connections. They've been essentially non-responsive for months or even years. Then, hours or days before death, something extraordinary happens. They suddenly become lucid. They recognize family members. They speak coherently. They recall memories thought to be lost forever. They engage in meaningful conversations. And then, they peacefully pass away. Dr. Sam Parnia is leading a 5-year NIH-funded study at NYU, monitoring 500 terminally ill dementia patients with continuous EEG and video. They're documenting these episodes of paradoxical lucidity, measuring the exact brain activity during these remarkable moments of unexpected clarity. Early findings suggest these lucid episodes correlate with surges in electrocortical activity, similar to what we see in dying brains during cardiac arrest. The implications are profound. If a severely damaged brain can temporarily restore function, what does this tell us about consciousness? About the relationship between brain structure and mental experience? About what we call the mind and what we call the brain? These questions push us to the very edge of neuroscience, into territory where our assumptions begin to crumble. And the most rigorous research on consciousness during cardiac arrest comes from Dr. Parnia's AWARE studies, involving hundreds of patients across 2 continents. If science is only beginning to understand what we experience in our final moments, what do you believe happens when we die?